Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to kickstart your show with me, Mohammed Team, and Shahzad Khan. Assalamualaikum, Shahzad, how are you?
I'm absolutely perfect, absolutely great. I've been going to Bakra Mandi these days and couldn't find out something for my own self, but I think people are doing great as well. And please be careful about Congo virus as well. It's out there. Just wear masks and just wear gloves whenever you go to the mandi as well. But just with this small message, today is a very important day, just like it was yesterday as well. Absolutely. It was the Defense Day yesterday. You saw our special transmission. And today is Yom-e Fazaiya, which is the Pakistan Air Force Day. And what happened back in 1965 on 7th of September is something which was a notable declaration for the entire country and then obviously for the Pakistani Air Force as well, as Mr. M.M. Alam actually took down 5 fighter jets of India in less than a minute, and 4 being in less than 30 seconds. We've got some special videos to share with you guys. Go ahead, take a look, and when you guys are going to come back, we'll tell you what we're talking about today.
Aircraft heading 270. This is Pakistan Air Defense on guard. If you continue on the present heading, you're likely to violate the international borders. You turn about, or you're likely to be shot down. 88, scramble now. Second airborne. मुझे फिजाओं में शामों सहर मेरी गरज बन के मेरी रज़ा किसमें जुर्रत है ये किसमें हिम्मत यहाँ आगे मुझसे लड़े कोई ऐसा कहा मैंने छुड़ाए हैं दुश्मन के ख्वाब मैंने ही तोड़ा है उसका गुरूर मैं ही मिटाऊंगा उसका निशान किसमें जुर्रत है ये किसमें हिम्मत यहाँ आगे मुझसे लड़े
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and the core reason to play this amazing video was to pay tribute to all of those people who sacrificed their lives in the line of duty and for the motherland itself, Pakistan. Zindabad once again. And now to get started with the show, Maha, what are we doing?
Okay, well, as you know, we also like to commemorate our past and our war heroes and everyone who's laid down their lives, but also we have to look to the future. Yeah. We have to make sure that the nation keeps going forward because the people who sacrificed their lives, they didn't do it for nothing.
Exactly, and superb that is. I think that will probably link us to what we wanted to do today.
Exactly.
Now, quite a lot of youngsters out there are doing something great, and you know, since we are a country which comprises of, 60% of the population. I don't want to use that word because we use it too much now, but still, they're young people. They're under 30s, and now, when you, for example, graduate, where do you go? Where do you look for an internship? But then there are global organizations which are actually being run by these youngsters. And then it's a non-profit organization as well, and then they're doing a great job with the placements. That's what I know, but we'll ask them.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, like Shahzad said, what do you do after you graduate? And you know, in Pakistan, there's a lot of pressure to know exactly what you're doing while you're actually studying. But a lot of people don't know, and it's about figuring out what you want to do. It's about getting the right experience.
Yeah.
So these guys are in Islamabad. This is the Islamabad chapter, but we'll find out about the whole thing.
Exactly.
So we have been joined by Kashif Zia. He is the Vice President of the Business Development for ISEC Islamabad. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam, good
Thank you so
morning.
much for joining us.
Thank
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you guys?
Absolutely great.
Besides Kashif, we've been joined by Talha Hanif. He is the president of ISEC Islamabad chapter. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you so much for joining
And
us.
the next guy, I think, is a twin brother.
Yes, and they've been on our show before in a different capacity, but we'll say that, tell you guys about that in a minute. Besides Talha, we've been joined by Shah Faizia. He is part of the he's a organizing committee president of the annual recruitment
Wow.
for ISEC. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam.
That is a long designation.
Yeah, that is.
Besides Shafi, we've been joined by Hina Khan Sherwani. She is the vice president of marketing at ISEC. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. So we'll start with
You guys should have actually sat down together so that people would have got
confused them.
confused. Yeah.
Confused
I did it on purpose. So Kashif, tell us, what is ISEC?
So ISEC is a student-run organization. It started back in 1948. After the World War, there was a huge hue and cry, and there was a lot of cultural differences in the world as we know it. So a group of students came together and they planned on making an organization who would actually cut on those cross-cultural differences, and they promoted exchange of in students going from one country to another and that country back
Yeah.
forth.
Okay.
So ISEC is the world's largest student-run organization. We are present in currently 127 countries, 127 plus countries, and we represent the ISEC in Pakistan Islamabad chapter.
Okay.
Wow, that's great. So anything you want to tell us
Adding
about
on to
ISEC,
what
because
he
that's
said.
quite brief information.
So
If
as,
you are in 120 or more countries.
so as he mentioned the details about how ISEC was created, so the vision of ISEC is the peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. So what we do is we create leaders. We believe the fundamental solution to the problem of the world is creating leaders.
Okay.
So this is how we go about exchange, and this is how we create leaders.
Okay, great. So that is okay. So that is the background, and that's what the organization does. But within Pakistan, what is its relevance?
Because
So-
you've got two chapters in Karachi, one in Lahore, and then one in Islamabad. So what's happening within these premises?
So what we do is that we have 4 chapters and then 3 specialized units, which are sort of expansions of these chapters. What we do is we send people from our entities from Pakistan to other countries, these 126 countries, and we bring interns from them from those countries. For instance, in this summer we had around 17 interns from different countries. So what we do is we project the right image of Pakistan, the peaceful image that we have, that we need to create in the world. And by sending people abroad, we break barriers and we break the differences that we have, and we sort of give the people of Pakistan the exposure they certainly need to excel in their personal lives and professional lives.
Okay,
That's great, but then
wonderful.
how do people
Chef
get in
Lucas.
touch as well? Because this is for the very first time that I'm hearing about ISEC
Yeah,
as well.
let's ask Shah for this. How do people get connected?
Well, every year we go into different universities and hold different info sessions. And specifically in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, we go on, we try to tap each and every university. Apart from that, we are very active on our Facebook page, and we do promotions over there also.
Okay.
So we try to tap as many students as we can for this exchange program. And the more outreach we get, the more beneficial it is for us and for our audience as well.
So I
Okay.
think for the outreach, we'll have to move on to Hina as well. So Hina, how are you working on that?
Yes, okay, so first we have different things going on. Like, for example, we have our annual recruitment going on, so we have promotions for that separately. We have like a Facebook page, and then, you know, we have campus ambassadors in different universities, and then they would personally go and contact people of university and then invite them to our events. And then we have some contacts in the corporate world too. So we have some partners that sponsor us.
That's cool. We
you
have
know.
some contacts in the corporate.
Excellent. Well, to be honest, I think I might have to
Yeah.
get in touch with you
Okay.
guys. It's quite
Yeah.
difficult. Okay, so and when you use these, obviously it's about outreaching, and Shazad said, you know, how do people find out about you, and it's about creating leaders. How do you pick the universities? How do you say, well, you know, we need to make this, so we need to make these people aware, we need to make these students aware? We'll start with you, Hina.
Okay, so we try to reach as many universities as we can. I mean, if you're talking about membership, then we first we used to tap like, let's say 4 to 5 universities in Islamabad like NUST. But now that we're getting bigger, we want to give opportunity to all the students, even like students in Qaid-e-Azam and stuff. So we're really trying to expand it, because the point is not like from which university you are. We really believe that there is everyone out there. You just need to have the potential to do better in the world. So if you're there, we could find you.
But I mean, we really need to be sure whether the other person has the potential or not. But then at the same time, who was the first one to start the entire concept over here in Pakistan? Who got ISEC in Pakistan?
Well, it's a good story. ISEC in Pakistan
you.
was actually started from ISEC in India. ISEC in
Okay.
India helped create ISEC in
Yeah, I've
Pakistan.
seen quite a lot of those videos as well, the
Yeah.
links which you shared.
That's excellent. So you're building it's all about, it's an international organization. It's
Yeah.
been in Pakistan. Now, like you said, it's about reaching everyone, not just the specific universities with people who already have those opportunities. Now, for someone in all the other universities within Islamabad, how can they actually benefit? Like, we're using very generic terms here, like leadership and skills and stuff. So what is it that you have the connections to the corporate world
Yes.
and the private sector, etc. But how are they going to benefit?
So there are two kinds of ways how we promote leadership. One is that we make ISEC members, and the other is we promote exchange. We send interns abroad, and they get all sorts of experiences, and they work over there on social projects or entrepreneurial projects and all. So to get to each and every student, as Shafa mentioned, we have info sessions in universities and all.
Okay.
And as ISEC in Islamabad, I am the local committee vice president for business development, and Hina is for branding and communication. That's how we have portfolios, just like any other organization.
Okay.
We have a complete structure. We have a finance structure. We have a finance portfolio. We have there is outgoing exchange, there is projects, and you can work in these different portfolios, whatever may be to your liking. Suppose Hina teaches Photoshop and she does all her work on Photoshop, and it's about branding and everything.
She can make good posters then.
Yeah, she does make good posters.
Yeah.
So these are the opportunities we give to our members. And
Okay.
talking about exchange, now when we send a person abroad from over here, suppose we send a lot of people to Turkey, because we have to take into account the visa possibilities and all. No, you have to be.
If I can go for free.
I mean, we're going to ask you all the requirements as well in a moment.
So when we send a person abroad, so he experiences all sorts of different experiences, and he meets all sorts of different people. They have opportunities over there. They work in firms, and it's a whole different experience, since we are sending an individual to a whole another culture, and as we speak. It breaks the cross-cultural barrier between that.
absolutely.
And
Adding on to what he said, one of the 3 pillars of the Vision 2020 is being accessible to everyone everywhere. So we are coming up with a new model of having local volunteers, global volunteers. What we'll do is that if you're not a member of ISEC and if you're not exchange, you can still be a part of ISEC by being there in their events or being there with the interns that are coming to Pakistan, taking them along the cities and letting them experience the Pakistani culture. So even if you're not part of ISEC, you can be still in touch with ISEC by attending the events or being a part of the process.
Okay, that's great. Now, before I
Great.
move on to the challenging aspect of it, I mean, what challenges or what barriers are out there, before we move on, what I want to know is who can be a member of ISEC? And then
What are
since
the
it's a
requirements?
non-profit organization, so then do you guys have to work somewhere else as well, have some jobs, or just this?
Talha, let's ask Talha.
Okay, so answering this question, we need to, since it's a youth-led organization, you guys have to be below 30 to be a member of ISEC. Now, since it's a volunteer experience, we can have jobs elsewhere. None of us is paid here. It's completely volunteer work. So like we do it for the cause.
For your career.
Yeah.
So then how do you guys run the organization? Everybody chips in?
For financial, we have a structure for our financial model and the income as well. So we have this membership fee for exchange. Apart from that, we get partnerships with different companies and NGOs. So we get our financial model from that sector.
Okay. And how
wonderful.
much is the fee?
For
For example, if somebody
Shazad,
wants
like, what's
I mean, for example, if somebody wants to be a member.
So there's no membership fee, but for exchange, if you're going on exchange, this is a minimal amount. It's about 120. It's 12,000 rupees for going on an exchange, volunteer exchange, and around 24,000 for going up for a professional internship. That's the fee we get.
Okay, so we're gonna go for a short break now, but when we come back, we're gonna discuss the challenges and we're gonna talk about actually how can people practically utilize this platform.
Exactly. Good morning.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we are in discussion with ISEC, and we're discussing the situation within Pakistan for fresh graduates. You know, are there intern positions, are there jobs, etc., etc.
And why? You know, what's the sole motive for doing this? I think that's a very important question as well. So why do you
That
think?
questions the motive.
Yeah, I mean, what's the motive behind it? I mean,
Well, when I first started university, I didn't know about ISEC at all. So when you start your first year, you're all enthused about all these societies and all these organizations. You get the opportunity to join to their sports and hiking society in your universities, their external opportunities just like ISEC. So to be an ISECer is to be more than just a student. You just don't want to complete your 4 years and just get a degree out of it. You want all the opportunities you can get.
Exactly.
So I joined ISEC and I had a hell of an experience. I've been in ISEC since 2 years, and it's another experience of my university life. It's completely different from what I study. It's the practical implication of what I actually study.
and then how do you inculcate the entire organization into universities within Pakistan as well?
Into universities, we are not limited to any university.
Okay.
So by having a member base of different universities, from like currently in Islamabad, we are having a member base of 10 plus universities, FAST, Zabis, NAST, and you name it. They're the 10 biggest
Well, you
universities.
should name it.
Okay, so Air University, Bahria,
Thank
ComSat.
you, my university there.
So these are the universities we get our members from. That's how we expand our horizon and all.
Very
Excellent.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you mind?
No, go for it.
All right.
Have I
since
ever minded?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. But since you guys have your own designation,
Yeah.
your own portfolios, so obviously the challenges are going to vary. So now let's just start from Hina. So Hina, let us know about the challenges which you face because of the designation you hold within this organization, and then as a student as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk from the marketing aspect.
Yeah.
So basically, what we face like as challenge from like I think it's a really like as a whole organization, we face that we don't see that many people take us seriously, and that's a culture that's being promoted in Pakistan, that you will not take students seriously. That if you go to a company, I mean, they will be like, you know, ye to bacche aa gaye, what do you want? You know, if we will, for example, be telling them about really, like, for example, we have Youth Speak, and it's an initiative taken by ISEC International, and that's basically a collaboration with United Nations. And you tell them that, and that's serious stuff, but they'd be like, okay, aapka event ho raha hai, to aapko event ke liye paise chahiye, and iske liye aage. So I think when like youth should be like promoted to, you know, make these initiatives, because they're not being taken seriously. So I think what we face in ISEC is that you're not being taken seriously. You just think that, you know, these are just kids, they're having fun, they're just gonna party. If they're going for meetings, they're just like, oh, are you going to another hangout? And you know, I think we face that from all of our stakeholders, you know, let it be
So
parents.
then how do you convince them? How do you tell them? For example, if you're here for a sponsorship, if you are, how would you convince them? Okay, guys, you want to go for a pizza party or something? Yeah, what?
Well, I mean, you don't even need to give that example. You're
Yeah.
sitting here and there's students watching. How would you convince the parents that, you know, this is actually something
Well,
that's
it's
very beneficial?
It's definitely a challenge, but then I think since we have gotten some partners on board, and like our parents are very supportive, all of us that we're in it, so that does, like, we can make it happen. But then I do know a lot of people whose parents wouldn't be supportive of it, or, you know, a lot of companies that wouldn't come on board.
No, and a way to get parents to be supportive is showing the success stories and showing that, you know, there are people who are benefiting from being part of such a society. So, Shafi, tell us about your story. How did you get involved, and what have you benefited from being part of this?
Well, being a student in itself is a challenge, and being an ISECer, it's like taking up on a huge job and a huge duty upon yourself, because you're doing it even though you're doing it voluntarily, you're doing it in a very serious way. So us students in Pakistan are already very burdened from university stuff, and now being in ISEC, I have to work on the side for it too. So what we actually learn from it is not only the leadership experience, but time management. From this stage, we learn on how to manage our professional time and how to draw boundaries upon ourselves.
Okay.
And then we get to interact with such a lot of different people inside of Islamabad and Rawalpindi from all kinds of universities, and work in different portfolios and work in different areas. So it really helps you a lot.
Okay, and now Talha, I want to ask you the same question about the hurdles and, you know, the problems being taken seriously, but also for all the students and everyone watching, is this a society that when you are doing your application, say a lot of people do apply to international companies, a lot of companies within Pakistan do have offices abroad as well, Is it something that's recognized internationally? You can put it down on your career CV?
Yeah, obviously you can, since it's partnered with the biggest organizations around the globe. For instance, United Nations is one of our strategic partners, Google, Apple, DHL, Microsoft.
Okay.
We have all those companies on board with us. We are recognized, we are registered, and we do put, the difference between the normal university societies and ISEC is that it is an organization, registered international organization, so you can definitely put your experiences on the CV, and you can share your stories in the interviews and all the other places where you can
Okay, so
celebrate.
then now, your challenges.
Yeah, your challenges, because you're the president of
Yeah,
the
so-
Islamabad chapter.
So I think the backbone of and the heart of any organization would be the people. So managing people, it's a tough job. For instance, me dealing with 8 portfolios, 8 completely different people with different goals in their minds. It's very difficult for me to balance between them. For instance, Kashif might want something else and Hina might something opposite.
Yeah.
Now I have to keep both of them motivated. I'm not paying them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I have to come up with strategies to make them happy and to make them enjoy their
For
experiences.
example, if he wants a pizza and she wants a panini, what would you do?
So we
Half
make
of
a,
everything?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
make pizzina or something.
Great. And then, in regards to, obviously this is very good for character building and personality grooming, etc. But now, because you've said you've branched out a lot, you're not just focusing on 1 or 2 universities, you're trying to reach out to all of them to be inclusive. How difficult is it? Because what Hina pointed out about the cultural hurdles that you face, how do you guys overcome those? Because even I've recently gone through it and I'm beyond the requirement age. But
Yeah, I saw
you're
your
getting-
status
Yes,
yesterday.
it's kind of like, how do you get past that?
Did somebody inbox though?
No, no.
Sorry.
How do you say that? This is serious. We are adults. We need to be heard. Because the youth is such a huge,
Yes.
percentage. What are you guys doing?
So, well, as Hina is the Vice President for branding, we brand ourselves as a serious society. We don't put pictures of us just jumping around all the time. Whenever we go to info sessions, we tell them what they should expect from ISEC.
Okay.
Suppose when I first was motivated from ISEC was from the info session they held at NUST. When I went to the info session, they told me that they're going to give us exposure into the corporate sector. Now, I'm the Vice President for Business Development, so my mind will think strategically about the Islamabad chapter, about how to add value to ISEC in Islamabad. So currently we are in talks with Kareem to give us off percentages on rides and anything that adds value to ISEC in Islamabad. So we have events and suppose we have a national conference. Now I have to raise money from the corporate sector to the for the national conference, and I go to multiple meetings. Yesterday I was at OGDCL and a lot of more meetings. Today we have another meeting after this lined up with USEFP. So we go into the corporate sector. It's apart from suppose I am doing BBA from NUST. So it's helping my degree a lot, given that I am not just studying what the books tell me. I'm practically implying.
You're in the real deal now.
Exactly.
I mean, you're working it out with other people as well. But then at the same time, quite a lot of times what happens is that, when you're obviously studying and then you've got this much work to do, you obviously deviate a bit in between. Now let's talk about the real deal as well. How many students have you helped to, or probably have placed within other organizations, and how are they adding up to it?
So, adding on to what he said, I think our results are the biggest strength that we have. They keep us motivated and they keep us connected to the people and to corporate sector as well. So this year we sent around, this year means starting from the 1st March, we sent around 100 interns from Islamabad to other countries.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
And we had
interns.
interns, yeah.
Excellent.
And we had 17 interns from different countries, and it's a huge achievement. Asking someone to come to Pakistan is not a very easy job.
No,
And
really isn't.
letting them know that the country is safe and peaceful. So people from Europe, Asia, and other continents, it's a tough job, but the results keep us
So
motivated.
for all those people who come within Pakistan, from any other country, where do you place them then? What do they work for?
So there are 2 types of programs that we have. One of them is professional teaching and professional internships, and the other one is volunteer experiences. For volunteer experiences, we look out for NGOs. For instance, we have Hashu Foundation, we have HDF, Inductin. For professional internship, we also look for companies that can pay them. Now we are having a partnership with Deloitte, and we had 2 of the Chinese teaching interns placed at Hashu Foundation.
Excellent.
So this is what we do.
Okay, great. And because there's a few more areas I want to make sure we cover as well. Now, when the programs that you've done so far this year, like you just mentioned, you've sent a lot of people abroad. Now, and you also invite people to Pakistan. There's conferences as well that you guys do. So tell us about that. Let me ask Shafi about the conferences.
Yes. Well, there is a when ISICers get recruited in ISIC, so there's a national conference which happens in one of the local committees.
Okay.
And that national conference takes place in one of the local committees, and people from every local committee of Pakistan come to that conference. People from Karachi, Lahore, IB and GK come to that conference.
Right.
That is a membership development conference and happens for 4 days and 3 nights consecutive.
Okay.
So the chair of that conference is from ISIC International. Mostly they come from abroad. Last year he was from China. And during those 4 days, we tell the members what they should expect from ISIC, how should they run their portfolios properly. And it's like from morning till night, we have different kind of sessions on leadership development and youth development and then throughout.
Wonderful. And Hina, what other things do you have upcoming? Because there's also something else called Youth Speak. What is that all about?
Yes, okay, so like I mentioned before, Youth Speaks basically an initiative of ISIC International, and in collaboration with the United Nations, they basically started Youth Speak, and it's basically to create awareness about the 17 SDGs of United Nations amongst people of the developing and developed countries. So not many people know about the 17 SDGs. So
Yeah, so you can share that, you know, what are those 17 sustainable
You
development
don't
goals?
have every single one. But
Yeah.
okay, so
But let us just touch upon them as
Okay.
well. I mean, what are those? Because you're in line with them, right?
Okay, it's okay. They touch upon like poverty and empowerment, and education, quality education, and basically, there's 17 of these. There's like a long list. But yeah, so
It's all
for
right.
that we have a forum, and that's basically like a day or 2-day event that we are holding this time at NUST. In October.
okay, great. So that's upcoming as well.
Yes, that's
Okay.
And we can go, anybody can come and be
No,
there.
yeah, basically we have speakers which talk about that, those 1 or 2 SDG or whatever the theme is. So
And
And
where
the
do you get
importance.
those speakers from?
we approach them. We try to get renowned speakers, like big names that we can really
Excellent.
get people.
Okay, now it's really important that you have this. So now this is upcoming as well. Is there anything else that you're doing to kind of get everyone together and get these?
Yes, currently there's like Shafi is the organizing committee president of annual recruitments.
Yes.
So we are currently in the phase of recruiting members for being ISIC members.
Okay, so tell us about that, Shafi.
Well, so since the universities are about to start in September, so we try to pitch ISIC to every university students. Like I told you, we have different info sessions. Currently, we have 5 and 9, and we're trying to have at least 10 info sessions.
Okay.
So for that, we go into universities and we reach out to the admin. We have our banners in there. We've placed standees and we distribute flyers to let people know about ISIC.
Okay, and now the universities, are they receptive to you guys, or are they quite?
Well, it depends upon the administration mainly, because many a times it happens that the administration does not take us seriously.
Okay.
When we tell them that this is a youth-led organization, so it's bound they're bound to take it a little non-seriously.
Okay, but then at the same time, if you've got it on your portfolio that you've been sending hundreds of students abroad for internship programs and then getting 17, 20 every year within Pakistan, don't you think that they'll obviously buy it? I mean, why not?
Tell us.
Yeah, so we have different experiences with different universities. It depends on the person who is sitting in the office. So it's always
Unfortunately,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we did get positive responses from the universities. We are partnering with some of them. So we are sort of overcoming these problems by showing us our results. So
Okay, so all of those people who go abroad for their internship programs, are they supposed to be ISIC members, or no, it's not
No.
necessary?
it's not necessary.
And then when they come back, do they like share their experiences as well? What do they do then?
So one of the events that we are planning to have is to have all those 100 peoples and gather them and have sort of a meeting with them, like sort of a conference where they share their stories and their experiences. So if you go on exchange, if you connect to ISEC at any level, you are an ISECer. You do not have to be a member. So being on exchange or being at one of our events, you are an ISECer. So
Okay, so now this now coming down to this annual member recruitment thing. Now, how does it take place? Where do you go? What do you do? And then for all those people who are not, under 30, but they still want to be members, I mean, is there a policy? I mean, obviously I'm under 30, that's not a problem. Okay,
I will stab your television.
it's all right. It's all right.
Well,
Yeah.
sadly, I don't think that people above 30 can apply. We
No
mostly-
policy.
Yeah.
But it was for the youth, man. It's
Sorry,
about
Ma.
people. Anyway,
I was just kidding.
it's about people with no direction in life, Shazad, so maybe you should sign up.
It's all right, I'll take it that way.
We're joking. Anyway, now going forward, so anyone can join if they're under a certain age.
Yeah.
Now, Shazad, you
I will
always do
live
this.
with it now.
Okay. Now, going forward, you have the different chapters. How connected are you to the Karachi chapter, to the Lahore chapter? Because obviously each city gives its own opportunities, has its own companies. So how important is it to make sure that you stay connected?
It's very important since we are in currently 4 chapters, 2 in Karachi, 1 in Lahore and 1 in Islamabad. So suppose given my portfolio, I have to keep in touch with all my counterparts, Vice President for Business Developments in Lahore, Karachi and IBA, since we have divided our company list. Suppose there are a lot of companies in Pakistan, but I don't want to be tapping, suppose Tapal from Islamabad, then someone from Karachi, someone from Lahore, not knowing that 3 of us are approaching the same company and the company asks us that the Islamabad came to us too and he's like, oh, I didn't know.
Okay,
so
so
that seems unprofessional.
Okay,
So
excellent.
I need to keep in touch with them. We have divided the companies and that's just my role. So given
Great.
Hina and all, to isi tarah chalta rehta.
That's really good that you got actual
Yeah.
proper. Okay, now in regards to the check and balance, because like you said, you go to universities, people go abroad on exchange programs, you have people representing. Now, in regards to being taken seriously, going forward, how are you going to now make sure that to the parents that this is, how are the checks and balance in place that you show that, we've done this to the admin or to whichever people you're pitching ISIC to?
I think the only way to take people for people to take you seriously is to show results. And if we really show
But no,
our-
but who also checks you guys? I mean, who makes
I
sure
mean,
that
is there
everyone's
somebody who's going to check you? I mean, ISEC International, they
Well,
might
yeah,
have a policy
obviously,
for
so
that.
we also have this strict internal control in terms of say financial regulations or following certain membership criteria. So we do follow that. There is a check of ISEC Pakistan on the local entities, and then there is a check of the regional team on ISEC Pakistan, and then there is a check of ISEC International on the regional team.
And you have to face all those checks as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you ever got in trouble? I mean, just because of these checks, some story you want to share?
So a couple of years ago, it happened that we had to submit the audit on 7th of January, and we submitted on 9th of January. So we have this full membership criteria. We went down from full membership to membership on probation.
Oh, God.
So which means that in the national voting rights, instead of having 5 votes, we had 3 votes for the next year.
Okay, so there are consequences
Yes.
for
Oh my
unprofessionalism.
God! But
So
now,
this is one of
are you guys still on probation or?
We are getting out of it.
And stay out of it as well. Okay,
I think that is essential to stay out of it as well. But then, are there any consultation sessions with all of those other students who want to actually get to know about it, or probably, for example, if they want to ask for their placements, obviously you'll tell them that these are the options. Are there any such sessions
Well,
which will take place, or conferences which you guys have?
We have what we call engagement with ISIC events, and they don't have to be like conferences or any big events. We can just have random info sessions at different universities. We can have like a Photoshop training session or something else training sessions where we're just engaging with different students. So,
Yeah.
if they have any queries about what is ISIC, what will I benefit from ISIC, a lot of people have a misperception that we're just a party organization and we only take people.
you clearly have been getting that a lot because you mentioned that a few times. Yeah, but we know you're serious because you seem very serious.
work a
We know
lot.
you're.
Or probably you can use another word other than party as well.
No, but it's.
Because party in my head is something else.
No, okay. So anyway,
I'll sign up, honestly.
yeah, you can check the requirements. Yeah. Okay, now talking about the checks, like going forward, you've got the conference coming up in October. You've placed already over 100 people, who've gone abroad, who are coming back. Now going forward, because there's another 4 months left in the year, what else are you guys planning, and how do you want to now start the next year as well?
Well, ISIC in Islamabad is currently focused on the biggest national conference of ISIC in Pakistan. So we bid every year for every national conference. So ISIC in Islamabad is hosting the National Youth Development Seminar. As Shafi mentioned, once you become an ISIC member, you're immediately thrown to this conference. 500 people under one roof from all over Pakistan, all different experiences, getting workshops all days, and getting to know what you're going to get from ISIC and what ISIC is going to give you in turn. So currently our focus is currently we are recruiting members from all over universities. As Shafi mentioned, we are having info sessions and we are trying to have an outreach. And I'd like to mention for any viewers, if they want to be a member of ISIC, they can apply right now because our applications are open right now.
Okay, great. So why don't we share the link? So why don't you look into the camera and just tell them?
The link, I'll write it down and we can...
Okay, we'll write it down and then I can check.
Yeah, we can do it at the end of the
say
show.
it on the camera as well.
We can do it at the end of the show.
Yeah, the show is wrapping up. That's what
We're
I wanted to
almost
say.
at the end of the show. That's why we're giving you an
Just say
opportunity.
the links.
Okay,
we
so
have a
I
Facebook
can.
page.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to partner with us, you can contact us on ISEC in Islamabad's official page. If you want to join ISEC, you can join the page ISEC in Islamabad.
And you should actually tell them what is ISEC.
What is the page?
AIESEC.
Yeah.
Okay, so AIESEC in Islamabad.
Okay.
You can go and you can check all the updates and everything. If you want to partner, you can contact. If you want to join ISEC, you can contact. If you want to go and visit one of these 126 countries, you can contact us.
Great.
That's a great
That's
selling
a really
point.
good selling point.
Well, one
Excellent.
last thing which I wanted to ask, and that is that, for example, if I was a marketing student, would you actually place me in a thing like probably photo editing or Photoshop? Then how would you handle me? For example, will you handle me according to my portfolio, or you'll just send me to a place
So
wherever there is internship
as
available?
they discuss the what we do for engagement with ISEC, internally we have a portfolio of talent management. It places the people according to where they want to end up, what their degree is, and what they want to do in the future. So we do it like that.
This is really, really useful. I wish I knew this.
Amazing.
when
And
I
if
was
there's anything
studying.
you think that we have missed out on, you can probably
Yep.
share it with us.
So let's start with you, Hannah. Is there anything that you would say to any students or parents watching out there?
I would definitely say that you should definitely join an organization, something that pushes you to do something more than just being a student. I mean, you can get good grades, but what you learn in an organization like ISIC, it doesn't have to be ISIC. That's like way more than
Any
what
society.
you would.
And it's not a party organization, Terrence.
Yes. Shafi.
Well, I would like to say that students in their second semester, especially, they should utilize their coming summer vacations to go abroad, because during those summer vacations you don't usually get internships inside of Pakistan. But what we can do is we can send these students abroad, and generally these students have an amazing experience. And once I have all of them added on my Facebook, and I get jealous once they're posting their pictures all summers.
Great. And Talha?
So just break the barriers and enjoy your life.
Okay,
Enjoy
great.
ISEC.
Yeah, I'd like to clear something out. There's two parts to ISIC. There is one membership and there is one exchange. If you're applying for exchange, you're not going for ISIC membership. If you want to work for ISIC, you will be applying to the link that we'll be providing afterwards to ISIC membership. Suppose I'm a member of ISIC, but if I want to apply to exchange, I will apply for the exchange program. Yeah.
Okay, one last thing. For all of those people or students who go for these internships, do they have to pay by themselves, or the companies pay, or what happens?
So it depends upon which type of internship you are looking for. If it's a professional internship, the company pays for your expenditures there.
And obviously depends on your own abilities and CV
Yeah, exactly.
and all that stuff. Great, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And do Google ISIC in Islamabad.
Yes,
right?
exactly. You
And
can
we'll
just
provide
Google
links.
ISEC just like that, and
We'll
you
give
know
you
there are
links.
plenty of videos on YouTube as well. The links are there. We'll post them on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a G.
on Dailymotion and YouTube,
Well, this morning.
and this fabulous repeat is going to be at.
11:05 p.m.
So till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, 1, 2, 3. Good
Good morning.
morning. Look after yourselves. Thank you very much.